Hello, denizens of the internet. Time for me to get in on some of this dead Hugh Hefner action. I think I can provide some much-needed perspective on this whole Playboy thing. Not so much Hugh Hefner, because I was a teenager at the very peak of the Playboy magazine's success and influence. I remember that I would be in Claire's cigar store waiting for the people in there to thin out, the cashier to get preoccupied, grab a peek of Miss September, because quite frankly, my source of porn was limited to the Simpsons Sears catalog, the bra and panties section, and the National Geographic's exposés on lost African tribes. Am I a disgusting human being? Am I an objectifier of women just because I read Playboy? And I still have several of the old copies here in the basement. I'm not hiding them from Ramona, but she doesn't know where they are. And because of the ads. What kind of man uses Stetson cologne? Certainly not me. Playboy's parody of what a continental, erudite man behaved and looked like. I mean, that was a lot of pressure for, budding nerds like me. But as you can tell, I'm the complete embodiment of a Playboy gentleman now. Let's be clear. For the last few decades, at least, Hugh Hefner has been a shriveled-up version of his shriveled-up former self. And what's with the hat? And so, context. I think every creative effort has a limited lifespan, a limited amount of usefulness. I mean, even a phenomenal artist like Frank Sinatra had a couple of decades of brilliant singing, but then many more decades of wretched horribleness, progressive government initiatives that are great in their first 5 years, but then become a bureaucratic, bloated mess whose only reason to exist is to find a way to continue to exist. I don't think, initially, Hugh Hefner included nude models in Playboy to objectify women. I think he did that to shock the establishment, in the same way that Lenny Bruce shocked comedy, and the way Gene Roddenberry shocked everybody by including a black female officer in Star Trek. I mean, those were all shocking events of their time, but the problem is that shock has a limited useful lifespan, and I think that's what we're talking about here. One of the things that Playboy didn't change was men's attitude towards women as a hobby. I mean, magazines even today, they categorize them in no differently from the way Motor Trend does with cars, or Bass Fisherman magazine does with lures, or Mono Stereo magazine, does with tube amps and electrostatic speakers. It's just the way men are wired. And in conclusion, I think Playboy and Hugh Hefner had their place. But like all good things, they come to an end. It's just really important when they recognize when that happens, because then they just end up being a parody of themselves. If only we could be brave enough to know when it's time to end the relationship. But we are fame whores, and the excitement of running into a D-lister, Dancing with the Stars entrant, in line at a Burger King, still offers some excitement. And the Playboy brand, I don't think, will completely disappear until Russian men stop wearing black Adidas tracksuits with the Playboy logo ironed on. And because somewhere, someone fondly remembers Miss September sandwiched in between a Norman Mailer article. I blame Norman Mailer. And finally, where's the Kleenex industry in all of this? What do they have to say about Hugh Hefner's death?